The following is an article from Health Magazine, Fall 2024 edition, published by the Southwest Utah Public Health Foundation. I survived a bear attack. The story of two college wrestlers getting mauled by a grizzly bear in Wyoming made international headlines back in October 2022. One of the survivors, Brady Lowry, is originally from Cedar City, Utah, and agreed to share his experience with us. Health Magazine asks, "So that weekend started with you and 3 teammates going to the mountains to look for antlers. Were you aware of any bears in the area?" Brady answers, "I had seen bears there before, but we walked the whole ridge as a group that day with no problem, so I was feeling pretty confident. Eventually, Oren and Gus wanted to get back to the truck and started down while Kendall and I circled around and dropped just below where we had already been, still looking for horns. About 5 or 10 minutes after we split up, we got into some thick trees and brush. I crouched down to crawl through and was met by a big pile of fresh bear crap. I looked back at Kendall to tell him when I heard a crash. I didn't have time to do anything except yell, 'Bear! Bear!' as I turned and saw a grizzly charging toward me. In a split second, it was pushing me with its head and throwing me around with its paws. That's when I realized there's not a thing I could do. They're so powerful." Health Magazine. What happened next? Brady. The bear dragged me about 50 yards away and pushed me up against a rock in a little ravine as Kendall was throwing sticks and rocks from above, yelling and screaming. I was yelling and screaming myself as the bear bit into my arm and snapped it, then started chewing on my back while pouncing on me with its paws, bruising my whole body. Kendall finally decided he wasn't going to watch me get eaten, so he scrambled down the hill and grabbed the bear by the scruff of the neck and yanked its head away from me. I remember looking through the bear's legs and seeing Kendall running as it took off after him. That bought me some time to get out my phone and call 911 for help. I also spotted the other guys down below and was able to get to them, but now we were afraid that Kendall hadn't survived. It turns out he had been attacked twice and torn up pretty bad before the grizzly threw some dirt on him and walked away. Gus found him, hurt but alive, and the 4 of us made our way toward a farm field that was about a mile below. Health Magazine. How did you make it back? Brady. We couldn't get off that mountain fast enough and kept looking over our shoulders. I couldn't feel my arm, it was just dangling. Kendall was losing a lot of blood. Our adrenaline was still going though. He was in really good spirits and joking around, which really cheered me up too. Once we made it over the fence into the field, a farmer who had seen us picked us up in a side-by-side and drove us all the way back to the trailhead where an ambulance was waiting. They hooked Kendall up to IVs and did everything they could to stop the bleeding. He was still talking and making everyone laugh. Then I took the ambulance while he was transported by life flight. We ended up recovering in the hospital for several days, although he had to get more plastic surgery done afterwards on his face. Kendall and I don't have anything against the bear. The way I look at it, if a stranger came into my house and was walking through my bathroom, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it either. I think we surprised it for sure, and it didn't know what to do besides fight. Health Magazine. What was your recovery like? Brady. Well, I got back to the outdoors pretty quick. I was attacked in October, but I had a hunting tag for white-tailed deer in November. I wasn't wrestling at the time, so I took off and drove to Idaho to hunt. It was sketchy at first, being by myself outside in the dark. When I started hiking, I thought, what am I doing? Then I realized this was what I loved to do more than anything in the world, and nothing was going to stop me. Kendall and I went hiking soon after, back in Wyoming. I guess that was our therapy. We tried to stay away from the bears, of course. We also started training together to get back into wrestling. I actually qualified for nationals in February 2023 and ended up taking 5th place as an All-American in March. It was rough, but it was worth it all. We had all kinds of people come to Northwest College to interview us about surviving the attack. Cowboy State Daily, ABC, Meat Eater, ESPN did an awesome article about it. Health Magazine. Have you guys ever been back to the spot where you were attacked? Brady. We did, yes. Brave Wilderness is producing a documentary about it and sent a crew last year to hike with us into the exact spot where it happened. It was definitely an eerie feeling. I haven't really had any nightmares or trauma from the attack. I think I used that experience for the better, not drag me down. It's a cool story to look back on. Just 2 weeks ago, Brave Wilderness took us to Alaska, where we saw up to 30 bears a day and got right up close to hang out with the big grizzlies. It was great. Health Magazine. What did you learn from your experience? Would you have done anything differently? Brady. I had bear spray with me that day but couldn't get to it in time. Gus and Orrin had a firearm, but we had split up. Now every time I go up to the mountains, I'm well prepared with both. It also showed me that it's easy to let your guard down. It was just another day in the hills, and we had done it so many times. So it's not only what you take with you, it's looking around and knowing your environment. I always like to be able to see my surroundings. I don't like going through the thick stuff. Health Magazine. And in the circumstance you were in 2 years ago, it was the people you were with that made all the difference. Brady. That bear would have killed me for sure. Those guys are like brothers to me. That's how the wrestling community is. All 4 of us are there for each other and always will be. It's good to have friends like that. Health Magazine. What are you up to now? Brady. I graduated last spring with a criminal justice degree, and I'm going to plumbing school up here in Lewiston, Idaho. I love the outdoors, so I'm hunting or hiking every chance I get. I'm excited about bow hunting elk in September. Then I'm debating whether I want to go after a whitetail or mule deer this year. Probably whitetail. Health Magazine adds, studies on emotional resiliency and recovery after a traumatic event show that certain factors are likely to prevent post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, from developing afterward. Dr. Deborah Kissin, Ph.D., MHSA, summarizes a literature review that identifies what makes a difference. Continuous contact with and support from important people in your life. Disclosing the trauma to loved ones. Identifying as a survivor as opposed to a victim. Use of positive emotion and laughter. Finding positive meaning in the trauma. Helping others in their healing process. And holding the belief that you can manage your feelings and cope. If this episode kept you alert and informed, mission accomplished.